Jesus freak. I'm sorry it took me so long to make this response, but I've had a lot. Actually, no, I'm not really sorry. I don't like you. You're right about that. And I guess now I'm gonna have to go into a little history before you know, if you had just started out with your stem cell argument and just launched right into that, then I wouldn't bring this shit up. But you chose to begin your video by, you know, saying, well, I know you don't like me, Fake Sagan. Well, yeah, you and I have some history, and now I have to fill the audience in so they understand what my biases are. I think that's only fair. Well, you said that, you know, you're afraid I might see you as a bit of a fundamentalist, extremist Christian. Is that unfair? You are the guy who just got done saying that there's two kinds of people in the world, those who go to heaven and those who go to hell. I think you pretty well fit the definition of a fundamentalist. But that isn't my personal issue with you. Let me fill everybody else in so we can get them up to speed, and then we'll get to the stem cell thing. Jesus Freak and I have history that dates back to my first YouTube account, Hard Case Owns You. And Jesus Freak was actually only the second person on YouTube who I ever pwned, which is a singular honor, Jesus Freak. I hope you're proud of that. That may be your only real distinction around here. The first was Brett Keane, by the way. Well, why did I do that? He made some comments about a friend of mine named an Angel 13. Actually, more than a friend. She and I sort of had a little fling, and it lasted a few months, and then it's complicated. But he left a comment on her channel, and this was back when she was first starting, and she only had a handful of subscribers. And he left a comment that said basically, I don't think I can remember it word for word, it's probably still there, but I think it was something along the lines of, you're setting a bad example for, you're setting a bad example of womanhood on YouTube, and, you know, don't you have any shame, don't you have any self-respect? But because for those who don't know Angel 13, her gimmick is that she makes all of her videos pretty much like this. Like, this is where the camera is focused, and you never see her face. You know, and I don't really think that's beyond the pale or anything. I mean, everybody does that stupid shit where, like, they put a bikini photo halfway through the video so you think that's what you're gonna get. At least, you know, Angel's videos don't misrepresent what you're really going to get when you click the link. You know, that's really what it is. And you can say what you want about it, but everybody kind of panders to the audience in some way. I think so, anyway. Well, here's the problem that I had with that comment, Jesus Freak, and I don't think that you know, I could be wrong, but something tells me you haven't changed that much since those days. Those days, which, you know, on YouTube terms probably means it hasn't even been a year. I don't think it has. Well, you know, I mean, it's overtly sexist to start off, but that's about what I'd expect from a Christian. I mean, your whole religion is kind of sexist. You sort of blame women for the fact that we're not living in paradise anymore, so how can you not be? But what I had a problem with is that, you know, there are, and I'm not saying that this is my opinion of Angel 13, I'm not saying that. There are plenty of women of loose virtue on YouTube. Alright, you could find a lot of people that are doing like sluttier things than panning the camera on a pair of fully clothed boobs. And I don't see you going out on that crusade. I don't see you going around doing that. Your problem with her isn't the fact that she pans the camera on her boobs, it's the fact that she's an atheist. and you didn't want to tackle her arguments because you didn't have the wherewithal to be able to overcome them. So instead you just played the Whore of Babylon card, which is such a Christian thing to do. You know, you just tried to shame somebody to silence them. So that was my initial problem with you, Jesus Freak. And, you know, like I said, I doubt that you've grown very much as a person since then. Prove me wrong. But anyway, let's, now that everybody knows what the history between Fake Sagan and Jesus Freak is, and he and I really haven't talked a lot since then, let's move on to the stem cell thing. Now, you know what bothered me immediately is that you kind of mischaracterized my position, that you made it sound like I was saying to Christians, well, you could be next. This could be you. You could come down with some degenerative disease, and, you know, won't you be sorry that you stood in the way of stem cell research? I'm starting to think that Paul's ego was right about you, and it really is all rewards and punishment in your mind, because, you know, I don't think I really tried to threaten anybody in that way. You know, my position was more that, can't you feel some empathy for this person over here, for my girlfriend who's suffering because you're standing in the way of this research? You know, I didn't say anything about consequences to you guys. You know, for all I know, you'll live out your life to a ripe old age with no great medical difficulties until, you know, the one that eventually kills you. I don't know, I just found it interesting that you kind of seem to put that spin on it. I think it's sort of telling. Well, here's what really bothered me, and this seemed to be the main driving point in your video. You wanted to imply somehow that by standing in the way of progress, Christianity acts as a catalyst for progress moving in different directions. You know, by standing in, by pruning off the stem here, you're going to grow two new flowers in this direction, in this direction. So aren't you guys actually a benefit? Aren't you guys actually helping science by fucking with science? No. Science doesn't need competition. The competition is built into the system. Scientists compete with each other. By standing in the way of progress, you're just standing in the way of progress. And you used such a bad example with these reverted skin cells, because that research came from Japan, where there is no Christian right standing in the way of embryonic stem cell research. Alright, so you guys aren't responsible for this new discovery. You don't get to take credit for that. Now, you Christian motherfuckers love taking credit where it isn't fucking due. It's like what you do with the art masterpieces of the Renaissance period. You know, you'll say to me, well, when has a secularist ever painted anything as beautiful as the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel? But professing that you didn't believe in God in those days warranted a death penalty, and the only people with enough money to patronize the arts was the fucking church, so maybe the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel was painted by a fucking atheist. You don't know. And I'm not sure what it is that you're really implying, because you were careful to use ambiguous terms. You know, you didn't lay your cards out on the table and say, by retarding the ability of scientists to do certain kinds of research, we're necessitating invention in other directions. You know, you didn't say that. You implied it. You implied, well, if we hadn't done this, would this have happened? It's so fucking ridiculous, Jesus Freak. And you know, it's hard to reason with somebody that's clearly selling snake oil. I mean, talking to you reminds me of talking to that Muslim fellow with the tea cozy on his head, Snow 90210 or whatever. You know, when I know that you're huckstering to me this belief that you've had since you were a fucking kid, how am I supposed to take you seriously? But anyway, I've saved the profanity and name calling for the end of the video, you know, because I know people won't take my arguments seriously if I insult anybody or use a curse word during the outset. It's kind of this illogical prejudice, like, you know, thinking that because somebody wears shabby clothes they can't have anything intelligent to say. But whatever, not the point. The point is, you're a douchebag. You look like a douchebag. Your beard looks stupid. Get out of here with your fucking douchebaggery. Fuck off. Unsubscribe from me. I hate you. Fake Sagan out.